Hey, welcome back to Let's Animate as we continue our journey into parodying Star Wars The Force Awakens. Sorry for the delayed intro. I was trying to remember how many of those same words I had just used in the last two videos, and basically all of them. So you're going to hear the same intro. That's great. I've switched over to Mr. Abrams here. I'm still with Mickey. It's only been, moments since we last spoke, and so you just saw me do these hands and get a little clapping animation going. Nothing grand, nothing that we've timed out exactly how we want yet, just to see how everything looks and how the movement looks. And the immediate switch to the clapping, I don't mind. I don't need to rig bones and start moving limbs around all awkward and gawkily. We're just gonna roll like this, and I'm liking what I'm seeing here. So yeah, this scene here is basically done. The only thing we might want to add something to this chair. We might want to kind of tinily position things a little differently, make this boardroom table a little bit larger, do something with these things that are supposed to be windows and the backdrop here. I don't know really if we can drop some Easter eggs in here. Maybe that'll be good. I'm not too sure. For now, this was the crux, though. This is 90% of the scene here is done. Once we know a little bit more about this world that we're making, once we know a little bit more about who's sitting at this table, once we know a little bit more about what's going on back here, we'll then also be able to carry that over and start to populate the background of this scene, so that we know that they're all in the same world. They're all literally in the same room. Mr. Abrams is just right over here. And yeah, and this will be our big reveal. The Mickey Mouse, of course, will be like the punchline of the whole joke, I guess. So we need like around 20 seconds of just Abrams tracing. There's Abrams tracing, uncertainty, and Mickey Mouse. The three main beats, plus an introduction, I guess, which brings us up to like 4 beats. And I think you're supposed to have, for comedy, it's like 3, right? Depending on how you're doing it, bing, bang, boom. Everybody has their own flow, I guess. And for us here, we're going to try to squeeze 4 sort of main ideas into like a 3-beat joke here. They're in a boardroom. I guess we can include Abrams in the boardroom. They're in a boardroom. Abrams traces to uncertain response. Punchline with Mickey clapping. He approves. He gives his approval on the whole thing. Thus, The Force Awakens is born. So, I'm thinking, where do we want to open on this? How do we want to handle? We're not going to have. I think I mentioned before how I used to have an idea, for the pushing. Yeah, because I talked about VCR technology and how rewarding and satisfying and what a big part of TV consumption life a VCR was for me. That sound of the VCR, it clicks in, the motor takes it in, and the flap shuts. And have a scene that kind of pays homage to that and kind of we're going to skip all that. I mean, this is about getting this done now. It's 2018 telling a 2015 joke. It's already more than a little ridiculous. So, I'm just checking my phone here. Sorry, I had a call in the last episode and I ignored it. And I checked my voicemail in between episodes. And there was really... ignoring it was the right call. It was fine. But now I'm kind of at a loss for what to do next. Like, I figure Mickey's basically done. How do we want to open this? We want as few scenes as possible. Tell this joke as quickly and succinctly as possible. So do we just open with JJ like this? We open. We've obviously got the table populated. Is this how we're going to open? Maybe it is. Then we will switch over to our crawl. And what do we want to do with this? Do we want it here? Do we want it a close-up? We could pull everything right up nice and big, taking up the whole screen, like as if just this area here, get part of that maybe, or just the TV takes up this whole. Let's just see what that would look like. It's going to screw up a lot of our... Oh, I don't have this in a bone layer. Well, that was just obnoxiously dumb. Yeah. Which means everything has to be pulled out. It's that time of day too where I have to apologize because there might be people returning home. This will be the last video for today, and might get cut shorty. And it just occurred to me that I totally overlooked that brief episode that went up before the last before I started recording the last two, and never made mention of it, and I got cut in on, or maybe I did mention it. I'm losing my mind. It's been a weird day, jumping back and forth. A lot of times when I've been recording, I've been able to just sit down and record. You know, maybe not as many videos in one run as I wanted to, but just those videos. And ever since all day today, I've been having to leave, go do something, totally change the mindset, right? Out of this sort of hypothetical, you know, creative loosey-goosey kind of world where I'm making up stupid jokes and animating them on the internet, and then switching over to real life stuff where there's like people expecting things from me and obligations I have to meet, and real world stuff going on. And so jumping back and forth all day. Every video has had a bit of a gap. I was late getting started. I recorded a bunch of Spelunky. It's just been strange in that respect. And lots of news too in terms of some of the stuff that I'm involved in, some big important stuff going on. So, you know, drawing my mind away from what I've actually talked about, what I've actually recorded, which days they're for, where I am in the schedule, just all over the place. And then throw onto that, like I've mentioned many times already, all last weekend was spent animating other stuff. My mind is all over the place. And after I'm done here, I'm hopefully going to be able to go focus a little bit better and bring everything back under control. But until then, I think we are going to just open with Abrams standing here. And then I guess what we're going to have to do is come up with, we're going to need, like, we need other people at the table, right? So I'm thinking like we need 1, 2, and 3 and 4, I guess. And yeah, they're just gonna be random people. Like I have no ambition to throw other jokes in here. They're gonna be yes men. That's why I'm calling these yes 1, 2, 3, and 4. And they're just going to. These are the guys that will, after seeing Jade. So we're gonna have this scene. Then we cut over to this scene where the tracing actually happens and the crawl comes up. And then we'll be back to this scene, and then all these yes men here will be kind of looking around, uncertain, right? So think uncertain looks in cartoons. You've got, you know, averting eye contact. So this guy, his eyes, since you'll be able to see his eyes very clearly right here, will be looking up this way. You know, kind of whistling. Maybe he's twiddling his thumbs. Maybe this guy's whistling. These two are going to be a little. This guy will just be the back of his head, and his arm will come up, and he'll scratch his head, right? He doesn't know what to think of this. He's going to look over. Maybe he'll look this way. This guy will look up this way. We might even be able to have him come up with. If this guy comes up with facing over here, a hand up. You know how you cup the side of your mouth to kind of cover when you're talking, cupped in such a way that it's preventing JJ from seeing, and we just see his lips kind of into this guy's ear. He scratches his head. This guy is like whistling, looking around. He'll also do the looking to the sky thing. Maybe you'll hear some doo doo doo, or you know, when people are like trying to fill a cough. They just don't know what to think, right? That's the whole point. These guys are at this boardroom. That's the point of the joke, is that they don't know what to think about what JJ has just done. He's made a pretty bold statement. He's saying we're gonna just tribute or copy the original. That's how we're going to handle this. That's my big plan, to save this movie, or to propel this movie into stardom. We're going to copy the original. No one knows what to think of this. No one wants to take a stand. Then we cut to the Mickey. He starts to slow. Let me re-lubricate here. He does a slow clap. And then it either ends there with people maybe cheering in the background. I don't know. Like a cheering sound, like, oh, yeah, woohoo, great idea. Yes, sir, Mr. Mickey, great idea, JJ. Or we cut back to here, and people are clapping and like, oh, yeah, slapping each other on the back. And then we zoom in on this smug face right here, and just zoom in on this smiling face. How will that? Yeah, you're gonna see all his like pubic like. I remember this episode when we sorted out the hair thing, like it, and I still stand by the fact that it looks good from afar. It's good from afar, but far from good, right? It looks fine from here. It shows that it's JJ's disheveled hair, but when you come in, it looks like the underside of a pubescent boy's armpit, right? Like it looks very strange. But I think right now we'll just work on this in this brief episode. We'll work towards placing some of these guys, and we'll just give everybody a head, and we'll start to breathe life into these people that may or may not deserve life. And maybe we'll just chat, maybe we'll just talk about what I'm going to do this week. Maybe we'll just chat about whatever is going on in your crazy country. Let me know if there's something going on in your crazy country. I doubt it, but, I don't doubt that there's something going on, but I doubt anyone will tell me, which is fine. But, what's going on? How are you? You feeling okay? I hope so. How come I can't get this in here? Is it already in there? There we go. So, yes man number 1, we'll just start throwing down heads here. That'll be this guy. He'll be over here. Yes man number 2, we'll call this guy. He'll be over here. And then yes men 3 and 4, they'll have a bit of a relationship. They're going to be a little more dependent on each other. I should almost do 1, 2, 3, and 4, but whatever. It's too late to go back now. And they'll be here. This guy will be fairly easy because he's just going to be the back of the head. I'm just going to draw some hair. I want them to be kind of like, maybe this guy will look like a slicked up used car salesman or something. And he'll be twiddling his thumbs and kind of looking around. He'll have, a suit on, I guess, and like, I'm trying to think if he's gonna have like, I don't know. We'll see. I don't want them to be too fancy. I want Abrams to be like the fanciest guy here, fanciestly dressed guy in the room. He's already thinking about walking down that red carpet, right? He knows what's up. He knows what's going on. So he's already thinking about that. These guys, on the other hand, are going to be a little bit more casual. They're going to be just like, yeah, we're here. We don't know what to do. We're just a bunch of bums. So that's good there. Starting to set that scene. And then maybe we'll start to set this scene a little bit. I'm kind of curious as to how all this will work. I know do I have the cart? I should have the cart. I don't have it in a bone layer. Just JJ's in the bone layer. That's unfortunate, because if it was all in a bone layer, I could just pop this cart into the library and then pull it back out here as a bone layer, get rid of all this, and just keep the crawl and stuff, and then I could readjust this whole thing as the bone layer in one fell swoop, instead of going through here on an individual basis. Like, I got to now pull the cart up bigger to match what I want for the TV, and it's just, it's not going to be good. And the problem why I don't, I could just also just make a bone layer, throw everything in it, and then adjust it. But it doesn't always work that way for some reason. I've noticed when you throw things into the bone layer, they sometimes move, like they'll, based off where the originating position here, this cross is, for the bone layer compared to this layer. I think that's what's doing it. And they'll just throw them around, sometimes change size, and that could be pretty problematic. I got to try to chase everything down. And the biggest thing that does is then sometimes messes with my lines. If I take this TV and then just make it really big when it's been drawn at this size, and then just pull it out, stretch it out really big, the quality drops. That's the part I've struggled with. I said this before, is getting it drawn in sort of the right perspective, the right scale the first time. And so that kind of troubles me a little bit. What I might do is the TV's all one layer, so what I might do is I might duplicate it, drop this off the face of the earth here, and just call this test TV, test tev, whatever, it doesn't matter. And then we'll start pulling this around here, and we'll start resizing this to be, you know, something that is taking up the whole screen. How is that going to look in the rendering? It's not bad, I guess. Yeah. While we do this, though, let's throw the whole TV bone test. And we'll throw these test layers into this bone layer as we go. The 12 I don't care about so much. That's easy to fix. And it's not even going to show up, actually. The cart is going to show up, so let's duplicate it. We'll call it cart test. This is going to be a boring episode. But, yeah, because we're going to be running out of time in a minute here. But, cart test, then we'll just disappear the cart. And then we'll pull it up. We're not even going to need the VCR. You're going to know at this point that as a VCR was there. Like, where was it? Yeah, maybe it does show up a little bit. I'm not sure how big. TV took up basically the whole, just inside from that leg and just over the back leg. Just inside from this leg and just over the back leg. So maybe this comes just a touch bigger. There we go. Something like that. Starts to go off the screen a bit, but I don't think that's an issue. We're just going to have hands kind of come up here, right? Throw the tracing paper on there. Yeah. I thought of doing something that was really close up. Like, so all you saw was the pen or pencil going over the Star Wars along. I chew up a lot of time, too. I chew up, like, I did 30 animated seconds. Tasso was my first thought, basically. I don't know if 30 seconds is too long, too short, because I just want quick little jabs at certain things, right? You expect it to be one thing, and then you what you get is like a succinct sort of visualization of criticism about a particular topic, and then that was the idea. I'm going to call this one Star Wars Test. We'll just hide the original Star Wars, and we'll throw this in here. It's going to have to go up here. How did all these move again? Yeah, so we're going to have to redo this stuff anyway. But let's move that here. And yeah, see, everything, the origin of the layers gets all wonky. It's not something I fully understand. But again, we're going to make it work. You know, we're going to figure it out. It's going to be fine. The star background. Star back test. Oh, shoot. I didn't. Okay, so duplicate. Star background. Oh, no. We're good. Delete that. What is this? This is that. This is that. Okay. Hide that. Move this into here. Behind Star Wars. There we go. Give it an origin somewhere in here. And then pull it up to meet this. The other thing I haven't really considered is I don't know what I'm going to do for the intro part, right? How to get across that sort of uncertainty, right? I want this to come off as Abrams where's this supposed to be? This is supposed to be down here. I want this to sort of come off as Abrams being like a savior, right? That's the idea, is that they don't. How do we effectively communicate that these yes men suits are at a crossroads? They don't know what to do, right? And that's the whole point of this. So you almost want it to be like there's some mass confusion sounds, there's some banging on tables, a lot of rabble type stuff, right? And and then Abrams comes in and saves the day. I don't know how this was envisioned before. I guess that is good enough, right? And he comes in and does this thing. No, now we duplicates of all this. Oh, for God's sakes. How do we change what this is called again? You can't, can you? We'll hide one and we'll throw one in here. And then we'll duplicate that. We'll hide one. Oh, for God's sakes. Throw one in there. And then we'll duplicate this. And we'll hide one and we'll throw one in here. There. So, yeah. Yeah, that's good. We'll move this down to be by itself. VCR can hide, 12 can hide. Not even going to be on the screen, and then we can just work entirely within this bone layer for now. So we got this stuff is going to have to be resized. This can all go. We'll work with that later, pacing that out. And we actually got a full-length episode in. I can hear people here, so until next time, thanks very much. See you soon.